Hey Gomez gang, today we're going to be reviewing page 52 in our Unit 2 Scholar Work Packet. Again, this is from the 2019-2020 academic year, so if you are in a different school year, the pages might be slightly different. On the Lesson 11 Explore, question 2 states that Miranda opens a new savings account that earns 4% interest each year. She deposits money when she opens the account, but does not add any more money for 2 years. After the 2 years, we know that her balance is $2,704. The question asks, what amount did she have after the first year? So in this situation, we know that she deposited an initial amount. And at the end of that year, which we will label as end of year 1, it increased by 4%. In other words, if it's an increase of 4%, realize where my arrows are originating. They are starting from my initial value. It is gaining 4% of the initial amount. I can also label end of year 1 as 104% of my initial amount. Again, she does have a second year that she does leave her money in, which we will label as end of year 2. Similarly, there is a 4% increase on that money as well. However, it is not from the initial value. Realize that my arrow is starting at end of year 1 and going towards end of year 2. In other words, I'm finding 4% of end of year 1 and adding it on to get to end of year 2. As we did in the last one, we know that end of year 2 is also 104% of end of year 1. What's given to us is that after 2 years, her balance is $2,704. As mentioned, we know that $2,704 is equivalent to 104% of end of year 1. However, in order to find end of year 1, we could use a ratio table with the correct labels of dollars and percent of end of year 1. We know that $2,704 is equivalent to 104%. Now, if I wanted to get directly to the 100%, I could divide by 1.04. However, if I didn't have a calculator, I would have to use a slightly longer way. I know that 26 goes into both 104 and 2,704. If I divide both sides by 26, I will get to 4%, and I would need to do 2,704 divided by 26. I know that 2,600 is 26 times 100, so I know it's at least 100, with a remainder of 104. I know that 26 goes into 104 4 times. So $104 is equal to 4% of end of year 1. If I were to multiply both sides by 25, in order to get to that 100%, I would get to 2,600. That 2,600, of course, is the value of end of year 1. That is a 104% value of the initial amount that she deposited. Similarly to end of year 2's ratio table, we are going to do the same. However, the labels are going to be slightly different. It is now percent of my initial amount. I know that the 2,600 is 104% of my initial amount. And as I did the same strategy that I did earlier, I can divide both sides by 26. I get to the 4%, and 2,600 divided by 26 is slightly easier. We do not need to do a lot of math. We know that it is 100. In order to get to my 100% of my initial amount, again, we will multiply by 25. That will get me to 2,500, which is my initial amount. Now, at this point, I could use my calculator, where it can tell me if I had $2,500, and I increased it by 4%. A 4% increase means 104%. I can represent that 104% as 1.04. That would get me to my end of year 1 value, which it does. After that, I would again find 104% of that value, which we know is 1.04, and that will get me to my end of year 2 value, which is given to us in the problem as 2,704. In other words, my initial amount was 2,500, which is the second part of this question. But the first question asks, what is the amount she has after 1 year? End of year 1, $2,600. That is the answer I am looking for. Make sure to check your work.